Hey, what's going on, guys? Andrew Fillion here. Today what I'm going to be doing is taking you guys through a full day of carnivore eating with a twist, and on top of that, I'll be taking you guys to the gym with me to show you how I train a full day of legs. So periodically throughout the day, I'll be checking in with you guys to show you each and every meal that I have. There's a specific reason for why I eat certain things at certain times of the day, and I'm going to explain all of those things while I do them. But what I really want to do is emphasize that this is going to be a carnivore style approach to doing a mini bulk season. So when I say mini bulk, what I mean by that is I'm not going to be overdoing the calories. I still want to have somewhat close to a maintenance diet while doing this, but I want to make sure that I'm in a small calorie surplus and that the calories that I do consume are getting me through my workouts. You're going to see that my leg day is pretty intense, so I want to make sure that I'm fully energized going into the gym. This means I want to make sure that I've got my electrolytes in perfect balance, but I also want to have enough carbohydrates to get through some of these longer sets. So here's basically the structure. I have a lot of my carbs early in the morning before I work out. After my workout, I have a small amount of carbs just to make sure that the muscle glycogen gets restored a little bit. This is going to aid in recovery, but beyond that, the rest of the day is pretty much just carnivore. So what that means is I'm going to be eating a lot of fatty meats with a small amount of fruit just to aid in digestion. A lot of that comes from the fiber. And another important aspect of carnivore that doesn't get talked about too much is that the carnivore diet doesn't really have a lot of vitamin C in it naturally. You want to have vitamin C because over a long enough time span, you can develop scurvy. I know it's not a major concern for most people. You're not going to be that vitamin C deficient for a long enough period of time to actually get it. But I just want to make sure that my vitamins, my nutrition are maintained at every single angle. So that's an important factor for me. So what I'm going to do right now, it's about 10 in the morning. I'm going to take you guys into the kitchen where I'm going to show you guys my pre-workout, which is going to be a lot of fun. I've been having a great time with it, and you'll see why that is. In addition to my pre-workout carbs, I'm also going to have caffeine and a few other little ingredients that I'll show you guys here shortly in the kitchen. With that, let's get things started. I'm going to take you in there and show you just what we are planning to do today. So first order of business, you got to get the caffeine going. So I'm about to throw this bad boy in the Keurig. I got some eye crusties because it's early. All right, so check this out. Right now, I'm grabbing some of my pre-workout supplements. So we got 3 key ingredients here. Start from the top. Creatine monohydrate's gonna really help you with saturating those muscles with creatine. Gives you a little bit of a boost. Nothing too crazy here. It's unflavored. Throw it in your water and you're good to go. These next 2 are actually pretty fun. So L-citrulline. What citrulline does, it dilates the blood vessels. It's just going to give you better blood flow while you're in the gym. I highly recommend it, especially if you're doing long sets or doing cardio. Next thing I've got is beta-alanine. So beta-alanine, it's a mild painkiller. So when you're lifting weights and you get that lactic acid storage in your muscles while lifting, it can be quite excruciating, right? Well, if you take beta-alanine, it numbs that just a little bit. It's not mandatory. All it really does is make things a little easier to get through some of these really hard long sets. So I'm gonna be putting all of those into this water bottle. Now I want to make sure my electrolytes are good. So I've also got this Himalayan salt and also got my potassium chloride. Now the potassium chloride is not going to be as important in this video as it's been in my other videos because I'm going to have a banana. Bananas have a lot of potassium in them already, but I'm going to sip on this throughout the workout so that I'm constantly replenishing those electrolytes. Now I'm going to dig into the fun part. So like I said over at my desk, I've been doing a modified approach to the carnivore diet. What you're about to see here is not very carnivore, but it comes with a purpose. The rest of the day is all going to be high-fat meats, but for now, we're going to put some maple syrup in a shot glass, and we're going to have a banana, and we're going to dunk it. So I'm really only looking at about 250 calories worth of carbohydrates before the gym. Nothing too crazy. This is going to be where a majority of my carbohydrates come for the day. I will have a little bit of fruit later on, but this is basically going to give me a massive burst of energy. All I do, I take the banana, I dunk it in the shot glass of maple syrup, and I go to town. Not only does it taste delicious, It gives me a massive burst of energy, which is going to come really, really in handy here in about a half hour. I want to at least give these carbohydrates enough time to hit the system. Because maple syrup is sucrose, not glucose, it takes a little bit longer for it to hit your muscles. The reason for that is carbohydrates really come in three kinds. There's glucose, sucrose, and fructose. Fructose is booty cheeks. Your body doesn't use it for anything but fat storage. Glucose is what your body uses as fuel. And sucrose is one glucose and one fructose combined together. So when the maple syrup is sucrose, it slows down the absorption. Sure, some of that fructose doesn't get used, but the glucose definitely does. And what's nice about maple syrup is it's highly nutritious. It has a lot of vitamins in it by default. So it's got a lot of magnesium, potassium, and calcium. So it's not just like empty calories that you get with most sugars. The maple syrup actually does serve a good purpose. So I'm going to finish this shot of maple syrup here, finish my banana, drink my coffee, take the dog for a quick walk, and I'm going to take you guys to the gym. After that, we'll keep things going, and I'll show you guys a full day of carnivore eating. But for now, let's go lift weights. So here we are, we're at the leg extension. This is the first set of the workout. So what I'm doing here, I do a drop set format. So I'm gonna be doing with this, I'm doing about 6 to 8 reps at 160. I'm going to immediately drop it down to about 100 once the form starts to wade. So I do them kind of like a pyramid approach. We start heavy, then we go medium, and then I burn out with very light weight. I might even drop down to single leg depending on how I'm feeling. The reason I like to do it this way is because with the leg extension, when you're in this locked out position right here, it's very hard to hold that for very long. But if I can drop the weight, I can get a lot more out of this exercise. And because you're on the weight stack here, there's almost no reason not to do a drop set when you're on a weighted machine. So I'm gonna get this thing started here. Now with something like this, it's really important that you make sure that you're hitting both the eccentric and the concentric static holds. See up here, I'm really locking out at the top. I'm going slow towards the bottom. I never actually let the weight stack touch the rest of the plates. This makes it so that my legs are engaged at every step of the way through the full range of motion. I like to do a slight forward lean. That way I'm not letting my back push against the pad too much to try to really force that weight up. This really helps isolate the quads. As you can see, my legs are already starting to quiver, so I got maybe 1 or 2 reps left in me before I have to drop it down. There we go. I'm just gonna do a really nice static hold right here, just like this. See, just like that, immediately drop it down to 100. Now I'm really trying to go for as many reps as I can here. We'll probably try to hit 10 to 15 before doing the fry out set. Okay. There we go. Just gonna drop it down to about 60. After about 10 of these, I'm gonna go single leg. That way I can really focus in on each leg, make sure they're both equally exerted. Sometimes when you're doing these exercises with both legs, one is working harder than the other. So to make sure that both legs got the attention they need, now I'm going down to a single leg format. Ooh, that's a hot burn. Now, a big reason why I want to start with leg extensions like I'm doing right now is because if you do something like a squat first, you're working a whole bunch of different muscles all at once. And it's almost never actually the quad or the hamstring that gives up first when you're squatting. So if you're held back by your weakest muscle group, your legs are never getting the full attention they actually deserve. So if I kick things off with leg extensions, really, kind of out of breath. So if I do that, I can start out with the quads. Then I'm gonna hit this next set on hamstrings. Get these legs really fried up. Then when I go into squats, everything's more at parity. I've already got sore legs. Then the core and the glutes, you don't have to worry so much about them keeping up because the legs have already been addressed. And when I squat as many reps as I possibly can per set. So from here, I'm now going to change this so that we can do hamstring curls. Now, not every gym is going to have a setup like this. This is really great for me So I can go from one exercise to the other without doing too much of a setup change. Now, one of the nice things about doing it this way is while my quads are resting, my hamstrings are working. While my hamstrings are working, my quads are resting. So doing it this way, I'm more effective with my time. I don't need as much time in between sets. So I'm going from one to the other. Each muscle is getting a good solid 3 or 4 minutes of rest, but it's not me just sitting here doing nothing. So we're about to jump into set 2 with hamstrings. Everything else is still the same. So I'm really focusing in on that static, making sure the plates never touch the rest of the weight stack. I'm going to go in here and really try to static hold at the end of the rep at the concentric, slowly release, and then go back. Doing it this way, you get massive amounts of tension on the hamstrings, which is what you really want. And another thing I'm doing, I'm trying to keep my feet as relaxed as possible. So when you tense up your feet doing a hamstring curl, you start to recruit the calves. And I do like hitting calves, but right now I really want my attention being on the hamstrings. So just try to keep those feet as relaxed as you can. And when you start to feel like you can no longer contract all the way to the top or contract all the way back to the back end of the concentric, that's when you drop the weight. Just like that, and then you keep going. You can see there's really no time between me dropping the weight. As one right after the other, and this dynamic approach allows me to keep working while still getting an effective range of motion. And I'm pushing these way further than what I could have done previously. So I was just at 120 on the hamstring curls. If I fail at a 120, that doesn't necessarily mean that the hamstrings have failed. It means that I failed at that weight, but I can still keep going. As you can see right here, you know, I'm still hitting a solid 10 to 12 reps. And it burns. It really does. But now we can go even further. Drop it down to about 50. And go one leg at a time, just like this, to really make sure those hamstrings get fried out. So what I'm going to be doing is 2 more sets of these. I probably won't have the mic on me while I'm doing these next 2 sets. I want to still, get value out of my workouts. But I think this is a great way for me to talk you guys through what I'm doing. And once I finish these up, we're going to go hit the squats next. And I'll explain to you guys my methodology for squatting as well. Whew. This burns. So these next 2 sets are going to be for me, but I'll take you guys over to the squat rack here in a little bit, and we'll get ripping through that too. So I just wrapped up the second set. As you guys can see on that one, I went a little bit heavier and I pushed myself a little bit harder. I didn't have the microphone on me. What you guys saw there was what a real working set looks like for me. As I want to make sure I stress in these videos, it's very important that you're controlling the weight all the way through the eccentric and the concentric range of motion. So a lot of people, when they're deep in a set, it's very tempting to explode the weight up and explode the weight down as a means of just trying to get it over with. But this is a mistake. A majority of the growth is coming from these slow controlled movements, especially on the concentric. That means when we're returning the weight to its initial starting position. So by making sure that you're moving slow through every step of the my brain's not working. So by making sure that we control the weight at all stages of the exercise, we're ensuring that we're getting maximum growth. If you explode the weight up but let gravity bring it back down, you're missing out on almost 50% of the exercise. So really just try to slow down your exercises, and it is going to make it more brutal this way. That's a good thing. It's showing you that you're getting true growth when you feel that deep exertion, especially late in a set. So that's when it's time to really dig deep and push as hard as you can. What I'm going to do is 1 more set over here, and then I'm going to head over to the squat rack, and I'm going to show you guys the way that I squat and some of the methodology that I use in order to achieve the results I'm looking for. All right, so here we are. I've got the squat set up, 225 on the bar. I'm only going for 2 sets, so I'm really trying to leave it all out there. So on top of being a bodybuilder, I'm also a hockey player. So part of the reason I have this set up this way is I want to emulate really hard skating late in the third period. So what I'm trying to do here is as many reps as possible. As far as range of motion goes, I'm not that concerned about going ultra deep. I'm going to probably be somewhere in between the 70 and 90 degree angles, but what I'm really trying to go for is time under tension. Even if I'm not going as deep as I could potentially be going, I'm still supporting 225 pounds on my back, which is going to really stimulate every single muscle in the core. And if I'm able to go for over a minute, that's really going to be almost more of a core exercise than a leg exercise, which is really what I'm going for. Mind you, I've already fried out the quads and the hamstrings on my previous workout. So this is really just trying to encapsulate everything in the lower body all in one giant, massive set. I'm only doing 2 sets of squat, and I'm going for as many reps as possible in both sets. What I might do if I'm feeling up to it, I might peel off 45 at the end and really try to burn out on 135. But one way or another, we're going all out. As an aside, I've got my other camera set up here. I'll try to alternate between the two. These cameras are synced, so it is all still one set, just in case it looks like it's jumping around. That's why. So let's get right after it. Oh my goodness. Oh. I'm gassed, you guys. I'm absolutely gassed. Oh. Gonna take about 4 or 5 minutes of rest. I'm gonna do one more of those. All right, here we are. Whoa. The hard part is finally over, the squats. So I always like to finish my leg day with some adductors and abductors. It's gonna really work the, there's the adductors, also the gracilis. You guys don't need to worry about that too much. Just understand that you gotta have strong hips. You gotta have strong hips, and that we're gonna get strong hips doing exercises like these. So I'm really only doing one set of these to failure. Then I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to do adductors. So right now these are like ABD abductors. We're taking the legs and moving them away. After that, I'm going to set it to the adductors, where we're going to go from away to in. The same principles apply to this exercise. We want to really focus in on those static holds, especially with the abductors. So I got 100 pounds on here. It's not crazy. It's not like out of this world to do 100 pounds. But what I want to do is really hold this static right here for like 2 or 3 seconds per rep. And this is going to give me strong glutes, strong hips. I do play hockey, so I want to make sure that I'm able to make sharp turns and do things of that nature. Static hold. I almost forgot to do it. I want to make sure I'm able to perform optimally on the ice. So this isn't really a bodybuilding exercise. This is really more of a body health exercise, but they're good to do because, you know, strong hips will allow you to squat heavier, squat deeper, squat for longer. So even if this doesn't directly translate to aesthetics, it enhances your ability to do exercises that will translate to aesthetics. So just knock this out. We're going to be going now to the adductors. I don't mind supersetting them. It's really not that difficult of an exercise. It's really just keeping the lights on. So right here, really want to hold this static. I want to see if I can get a deeper stretch on every rep. So I'm going nice and slow. Deep stretch. And push it in more. Really hold it at the top, you know. It's like basically pec deck for your legs. Whew. Good deep stretch. Squeeze hard. Like doing leg flies. In a lot of ways, it really is that way. And with the abductors, it's kind of like doing rear delts with your ass. So no reason not to train them. Keeps the hips nice and healthy so that you can keep skating. Or, you know, if you do gymnastics or jiu-jitsu, or if you play soccer or whatever, I mean, it translates well to pretty much every sport. Oh. Whew. So I only do one of each. But now I'm going to go and hit calves. 2 sets of calves, and then we're done. It's really just 10-set workout, you know? But you go as hard as possible on every single set. You don't need as much volume, and you don't want as much volume. Trust me, when you train this way, it's tough. And you don't want to do more than 10 sets. Anyways, I'm going to go do calf raises, and then we'll go make some lunch, and I'll keep going with the carnivore diet, show you guys how I do it, what are the things I like about it, and of course, going to have a little bit of fruit as well. So it's not perfect carnivore, but it's pretty close. All right, moved on to the calves. So what a lot of people don't know about the calves, it's actually 2 different muscle groups, and depending on how your knee is positioned, you could be hitting one calf muscle or another. So there's a gastrocnemius. It's a big guy right here. And then inside the gastrocnemius is another one called the soleus. And in order to hit all of these muscles, you got to do a calf raise with your knees bent at a 90-degree angle like we're doing here. And then we got to do another one with our feet out straight with the knee extended like that. And I believe this is going to be so bad. I'm pretty positive that the soleus gets worked. Yeah, let me just verify. Trust but verify. So the soleus gets worked on the 90-degree angle calf raise, and the gastrocnemius gets worked on the straight knee calf raise. I'm going to be supersetting these as best I can with the camera, or I might just alternate. We'll see. But the point is, everything else is consistent with what we've been working on. So very, very slow. I want to go really deep on the calf raise. You get the most bang for your buck at both ends of the range of motion. So the eccentric and concentric. Want to get used to doing these static holds. So I used to be an ego lifter where I'd put 4 plates on this thing and try to hammer them out. You're missing out on such good stretches when you do that. Instead, we go nice and slow. Got 2 plates on here, nothing too crazy, but I'm really focusing in on these static holds. Like, look at that. You hold this, and then the grit comes out, because you could do this probably 25, 30 times. It starts to get hard after the 20th rep, but the calves can take a lot of abuse. And part of the reason I want to abuse them so hard is because, like I said earlier in the video, I do play hockey. When you're late in a shift, you can't just give up on the play. Your legs are on fire in the 3rd period, and you keep skating anyways. And doing stuff like this really helps me build that grit, build that tenacity to keep going. I think I got like 2 reps left in me, by the way. Yeah. Dude. Oh, I don't like to swear in my channel. Sorry about that. Oh, so I got these both I do want to superset the calves. I'm going to superset the calves, but I'm going to bring my tripod over to the other one. All right, this might not be the best superset that I've ever done, but bear with me here, guys. Oh, I really hope I didn't screw up the camera angle. Maybe we'll find out when I edit. So, got my legs nice and straight, just like this. You guys can't see in this shot, but I do have my other camera right there. Basically going for the same thing I was doing over there. Nice, hard, static holds. Take it nice and slow. Make sure you get that deep burn. This is really hitting the gastrocnemius medial and lateral head. If you ever want to know, the lateral head of any muscle is always going to be on the outside of your body, and the medial head will always be in the internal area. So the calves are really three muscles: gastrocnemius, medial and lateral, and the soleus. There's a few deep tissue muscles too, but they don't get worked the same way that these superficial muscles do. Woo! I could keep going. It's called the grit, man. When it gets hot, you keep going. That's how you get stronger. You just say no. I'm gonna keep it going. I'm gonna keep it rocking with the burn. Enjoy the suffering, you know? Woo! Okay, now I'm done. So I'm gonna do one more set of this. After that, this workout is a wrap. Go home, show you what I'm gonna eat. We'll have dinner later tonight. It's all gonna be carnivore based, so hope you guys enjoy that. And let me know in the comments below if you're still here. I know this is probably about 20 minutes in, so you're probably in for the long haul. I love hearing you guys, love your feedback. I want to know what kind of video content you guys enjoy, so I want to make sure that you guys are having a good experience while watching these videos. I've recently decided I want to combo up my meals with my training, putting them both in the same video. If this format works, if you like it, please let me know. I'll keep doing it. Otherwise, if you think, nah, I think you should split these up, I can do that too. Anyways, I'm going to do one more set and then I'm going to get out of here. I'll talk to you guys back in the kitchen. All right, guys, here in the kitchen, just back from the gym. I'm starting things out with some hard-boiled eggs. So I've got about 5 in there. I'm on a MyFitnessPal break right now, so I'm not actually logging anything, but I've been doing this long enough to know hard-boiled eggs going to be between 70 and 80 calories per egg. Let's be on the safe side. We'll call it 80, so 400 calories of eggs. Now, that's not all. Open up the refrigerator and we've got ourselves strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. So I'm going to pull those out and have some fun with it. So the nice thing about berries, you really just can't go wrong with them. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, they're all so low in calories that you really could not gain weight eating these if you tried. And the same goes for cucumbers. I'm down to my last cucumber. Good thing tomorrow's Saturday because it's time to restock. But so what's nice about berries, have a bunch of them. Just put them in the bowl like I'm going to do right here. It's like I'm talking to you guys through putting fruit in a bowl like you don't know how to do. I'm talking to you guys through, oh, I forgot to pick up the microphone. Oh, don't let your eggs boil over, by the way. So look at that. Beautiful bowl of berries. Now, if you're doing the carnivore diet like me, I'm giving you the authority. You can have as many berries as you want. Go and have fun with it. These berries give you a lot of fiber, and the fiber will help you stay full through the day, especially if you've got a lot of fat in the diet. The two together are going to make you feel full and feel great all day long. Oh, bad news about the eggs, guys. One of them cracked in there. Look at that. Well, anyways, I'm still going to eat them. No problem there. So unfortunately, one of my eggs did not make it. As you can see, some of the egg is already on the other egg shells. Oh well, what can you do? The berries, though, are going to more than make up for it. With only 4 eggs, we're looking at maybe about 320 calories. And this bowl of berries is maybe 150. So that's about a 500 calorie meal. So for me in my personal journey at this stage in my life, I'm trying to put on a little bit new muscle, which means my weight is going to go up. I'm no longer cutting calories, but I am trying to make sure I'm still eating healthy. This will allow me to put on lean mass without getting too chubby in the process. So I'm going to eat these, and then oddly enough, I actually just got called to go play some drop-in hockey, so it's kind of ad hoc, but that's the fun of it, and my legs are totally fried out, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's just drop-in, so I'll do that, and then I will come home later at night, and I'll show you guys the more meaty meal that is going to be super carnivore. Well, here I am. I just got back from hockey. I'm about to prepare my final meal. Before I do that, I gotta tell you guys, once we finished up with the game, did have a little bit of the munchies. I got one of these Gatorade protein bars, and you can never just have one. So had another one, a Quest bar. Oh, and front desk also had these little strawberry candies. So not 100% carnivore today, but between the workout and playing drop-in hockey, I think I've earned it. Now what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be putting a nice burger on the cast iron pan, and I'm probably going to make 3. So I think burgers are probably pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be a burger with no bun and no cheese. It's just it's literally going to be 3 burger patties with seasoning on it. But that's okay. I don't really need the bun. The cheese, I guess, would be kind of cool, but I don't know. I just don't really need it. I'm actually kind of like okay with it just being burger. Just take a nice handful, smash it in. So like I said earlier in the video, I am doing a MyFitnessPal break. If I was trying to be strict with this, I do have a food scale. I'm not sure if the angle of this camera shows it or not. But back when I was in training for competition, I would use the food scale on basically everything, even fruit. But, you know, I am in the off season. My show's been over for about a month, and I'm basically giving myself like a mental vacation from some of the more strict parts of fitness, which is like the tracking aspect. All right, so I just put down 3 burger patties. I'll bring you guys over so that you can also see it. It's right there. Nothing crazy, just 3 patties. I'm going to go with a different seasoning on each just to kind of keep things interesting. But aside from that, that's pretty much dinner. So the whole idea with the carnivore diet is to try to stay away from processed foods as much as possible. I know the protein bar is going to be processed, but of all the things I could have, I don't think the protein bar is that big a deal. Really want to stay away from things like high fructose corn syrup and soybean oil. Those are like the 2 big things. Like, I make sure whatever I'm eating does not have either of those in them. You do that and you're in pretty good shape. So I'm gonna give these some time to cook, show you guys the end result, but I don't think it's gonna be too crazy. I mean, if you don't know what a burger looks like, I don't know if I can help you. So let these cook and I'll show you guys the end result and talk about where we're gonna go from here. Well, here we are at the end of the video. As you can see, I've got my own little burger mountain here. Last meal of the day. It's a Friday night, but I don't drink anymore, and I'm not really involved in the nightlife. So, just like you guys, I'm going to enjoy these burgers, watch some YouTube, in bed by 10, and I'm back at it the next morning. I hope you guys like this video. There's going to be plenty more coming out of this format if you guys like it. So, I did a video like this previously last week. I took you through my chest and back day. It's going to be like here or there. It's going to be somewhere on this. Whoa. It's going to be somewhere on this screen for you to click. That part is for certain. Go ahead and like the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So my plan for you guys, I want to eventually show you my full training routine. So last week we did chest and back. Today we did legs. I'll have shoulders and arms coming for you guys soon. This is my program going into an off season so I can put on new muscle. I want to make sure that you guys understand that, because the variables do change over time, and I'm going to rotate exercises in and out as needed to achieve the ultimate purpose, which is to have as good of a physique as possible and also maintain, you know, functional athleticism. So, well, I don't want to chomp your ear off this late in the evening, so I'm going to eat my little burger mountain, watch some YouTube, and catch you guys in the next one. Peace.